Hello and welcome to KitPlus TV, supported by Mediaproxy. Now, remote production is very much here to stay. We're doing it here, of course, ourselves. It's safer, greener, generally more efficient.
Yes, and with IP technology developing so fast, we're of course going to see new products and new ways in which IP can be deployed. So here to tell us about a new IP remote device control product from Datavideo is Adam Levitt, one of their technical consultants.
Hi Adam, good to see you. Welcome to the show.
Hi both, thanks for having me.
So Adam, we hear a lot about remote production, especially over the last 18 months or so. It's been a great way to keep COVID safe. And of course, it's reducing your carbon footprint as well. But it can be a bit complicated. And I understand that Datavideo may have the solution. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So I think when we use the term remote production, what we're essentially talking about is controlling production equipment from another location, typically over the public internet. A lot of the groundwork's already been done because most equipment these days can be controlled over IP now. It's not so common to see RS-232, RS-422 for controlling cameras and switches anymore. So the challenge is really how we take equipment that was designed to be controlled over IP, but on a local network, and we control it over the public internet instead. So as an example, if we take a very simple setup with a couple of pan tilt and zoom cameras and a vision mixer, you might have a hardware controller for the PTZ cameras on your desk, and you might have a hardware control panel for the vision mixer on your desk. The PTZ controller and the control panel are going to be connected to the cameras and the switcher using IP. So how do we take both of those controllers to another location and allow them to connect to the PTZ cameras and the vision mixer over the public internet, just as they did locally? There are a few ways to do this. If you know what you're doing, you can open ports on firewalls to let the controllers through. But of course, that does require a good understanding of IP networks, and there's also some inherent security risks in doing that. Another off-the-shelf solution might be to set up VPNs, so virtual private networks between the two locations. But again, this requires a good understanding of IP networks, as it can be hard to set up and manage. So what Datavideo have just released is a solution that allows you to do this securely and without the need for any IT background or a strong understanding of IP networks. So the product in question is called the BB-1, which is short for Black Box 1 because it's a small black box. So you can see the box here fits in the palm of my hand. And these are sold in a starter kit as a pair. So you get two of these in a box, but you can buy additional single units. And this hardware works in conjunction with their cloud service called dvCLOUD. And essentially, you just need a black box at each location. Each black box connects to the cloud, and all of the complex IP routing is done for you in the cloud. So if we look at that previous example, we would connect a black box into the same local network where the cameras and the vision mixer are. And then we would take another black box and connect it to both controllers. If you're using Datavideo equipment, so vision mixers and cameras are Datavideo and the controllers are Datavideo, that's all you need to do. The controller will detect those cameras as if they were in the same room, and it just works. So effectively, it's a transparent bridge between both of those networks over the public internet. If you're using third-party equipment, so non-Datavideo cameras, non-Datavideo controllers, it will work with anything. All you need to do on the control side is just tell it the IP address, the cloud IP address. Each device gets given a unique IP on the cloud that you need to pop into the controller. And you will then be able to gain full control over those devices just as if you were in the same room. And so that's just one example to give you an idea of how the technology works. But right now I'm talking to you using my webcam over vMix Call, which is essentially a web RTC connection. If we wanted a better quality image, we could install a BB-1 here and another BB-1 at your studio. I could have a PTZ camera on my desk, and that camera could stream using the SRT protocol directly into vMix as a source. The cameras, lots of cameras these days have got H.264 and H.265 encoding built in them, so we can stream straight into vMix as a source. And you could also control the pan tilt and zoom camera on my desk from your studio using the Visca over IP function within vMix.
Excellent. I mean, the first thing that comes to mind is that there are a few solutions for, you mentioned SRT, that there are other solutions out there for remote control. How does the approach that they're taking differ from some of the others on the market?
Yeah, there are a number of solutions available for remote camera control. Lots of these take a similar approach where they take an NDI source, they convert it to SRT to go over the internet, and then they convert from SRT back to NDI again, the other end in software. And of course, we now have the new release of NDI 5 and NDI Bridge, and that does something very similar using NDI 5's native reliable UDP rather than SRT. So firstly, what makes this different is that this is a hardware solution. It's an appliance that once it's paired to the cloud, you just power it on and it works. All the management is done in the cloud. It doesn't require a PC. It doesn't require a computer. So it's very easy to create, flyaway kits or remote interview kits that you can just send out to turn the power on. And they work. Secondly, and probably more importantly, it's not just camera control. Really think of this as a universal solution for the control of any IP devices. So, of course, you can control cameras and switches, but you could also remotely control teleprompters, video hubs, video decks, encoders, decoders. The possibilities are almost endless.
So Adam, I didn't, until today, of course, I didn't know about the dvCLOUD. It sounds like it's got possible uses elsewhere as well. What else can it do?
Yeah, sure. I mean, we touched upon dvCLOUD earlier because it's what enables the BB-1 to operate without the need for any IT infrastructure changes. So you don't need public IP addresses. You don't need to play around with firewalls. But it also does a lot more than that. So it supports restreaming. So this is a concept that most people are familiar with, where you can send one video stream up to the cloud and have the cloud send that out to multiple destinations, simultaneous streaming to Twitch, Facebook, Twitter, and so on. However, we're not just taking RTMP in and pushing RTMP out. We can actually take SRT in on the input side. And just briefly, SRT, secure, reliable transport. It's a protocol that deals with packet loss and variable latency, jitter, much better than RTMP does. It works much better over poor internet connections than the traditional RTMP protocol that you use to stream to the likes of Twitch and Facebook. Those platforms don't support SRT, but by using an SRT cloud service between your encoder and them, you can get the advantages of SRT, because the most reliable part of the chain when streaming is the first mile. It's the rural broadband connection at your house. It's the dodgy Wi-Fi at the venue, or the weak 4G connection. Once the stream's made it to the data center, it's generally very reliable from there on. So using SRT gives you a much better chance of getting the stream to the data intact when the connectivity is poor. The dvCLOUD also supports point-to-point encoder to decoder connections, so site-to-site encode decode. Again, using SRT. gives you reliability, also gives you end-to-end monitoring in real time. So with the statistics that are available on the cloud dashboard, you can monitor the stream all the way from the encoder to the decoder to be absolutely sure that every frame is making it. You can see statistics that tell you how lossy the network is, how much packet loss there is. And then, of course, you can adjust the encoder settings, such as the latency value, before you go live, so you don't get any nasty surprises after the event.
Yeah.
And finally, the Datavideo MVD series of decoders are actually natively integrated with dvCLOUD. So when you sign those into your dvCLOUD account, you get full control of the decoder from the cloud. So you can manage as many decoders as you need to remotely, change all of the settings on them, and you can connect encoders to decoders with a single click. So almost think of that like a video matrix in the cloud.
Well, interesting. I mean, it all sounds very good. I'm assuming that the dvCLOUD does attract either a subscription fee or some kind of cost. You give us an idea of roughly what sort of area we're looking at? Do you know?
Yeah, sure. So currently there are two subscriptions starting at $49 a month for the Essentials plan, and going up to $99 a month for the Professional plan. Really, the key differences between the two are the number of encoders and decoders that you can connect and the number of black boxes you can connect. So with the Essentials plan, that's 2 black boxes. So obviously 2 sites, 1 control site, 1 remote site. With the Professional plan, you can actually have up to 6. So, if we go back to the example I had earlier of using it as a way of ingesting remote guests, if you had a BB-1 in your studio, I had one here, we could have another guest in another part of the country sending an SRT stream from his Panto and Zoom camera as well. And you'd be able to control all of those remote sites simultaneously.
Mm. Yeah. And the BB-1's new, isn't it, Adam? Are they shipping now? Where can we find out more?
Yeah, they've just started shipping. So stock is available now. The best place to go for more information would be datavideo.com.
Fantastic. Good to hear. Thank you very much for coming in and talking to us, Adam. Do check out datavideo.com for all the info you need. Thanks to Mediaproxy for their continuing support of KitPlus TV, and thank you for watching, of course. See you next time.